So good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Programming for Problem Solving theory sessions we are continuing online. Just in a previous session, we started our Unit 2, which is Fundamentals of C. So we have started learning C language from the basics. And where we have covered features of C language, it's easy to understand, easy to learn, only few limited keywords, 32 keywords, so easy to remember. Built-in functions, functionalities so that we can directly use it, and plenty of other features, right? And then we started looking at the structure of a C program. If you want to write some C code, then we should follow this structure where we have number of sections. So if we go through those sections one by one, we have first documentation section. Just a documentation part goes as a comment, and where you describe your entire program, what it does, who have written it, why, and how to access, how to use, and all those things. Whatever you want to do, you want to describe, you can do it inside documentation section. Then there is a link section where we link library files, header files with our program. Then there is a definition section where we define some symbolic constants. After that, we have global declaration section where if we want to define some variables or some values which can be used anywhere within your program, so you can declare that value globally inside this section. Then we have a main section where we are going to write main function, and it is a special kind of function where your program execution will start. Inside your main, you will have two parts, declaration and execution. So everything that you want to declare comes first and then starts your execution. So whatever logic you want to implement, all those statements will be here in the execution part. And after you complete your main, if you want to define some user-defined functions, extra subroutines, then you can write those subroutines or functions in subprogram section at the end of your file, right? And we also looked at this example, a program which calculates area of a circle, where we print that final result. So we use printf, and for that we have included stdio.h file in linker section. We also want to use value of pi, and pi is always going to be constant, so we define that symbolic constant in a definition section. And then we require radius. So let's say inside my entire program, I want to use that radius anywhere, and because of that reason, we declare radius r as a global declaration inside global declaration section. Otherwise, that radius may be local one. And then we have a main section, so main function from where your execution will start. And when we start our execution, there is no local declaration here. We have float area declared locally along with the execution part, where we calculate pi into r, and then we print our area. And that's the program, a basic or a very small C program to understand all these structures. Look, this program was to understand structure only. Remember, we are not digging in and we are not understanding all these statements perfectly. We only want to understand a structure right now. Forget about what is float, what is int and all. We are going to cover all those things one by one. Okay. So that's the structure of a C program we have covered in previous lecture. And now on, let's move and cover a few other topics. So the next thing that we want to focus on is the include directive, hash include. We've already seen this one, hash include angular bracket stdio.h. So what is that include? Now our C program can be divided into two major functions, two types of functions. One is a user-defined function. If user creates the function based on the requirement, and the other is the system library functions, which is already there defined in some header files, and let's say we want to use those functions. Yeah. So system library functions are stored in some files which is called header files, and if we want to link our header file, if we want to use those header files, then somehow we need to tell our compiler that I want to use this file. Somehow I should tell my compiler that I want to use that file. So for that reason, we have this hash include directive. Using this include directive, we can include any file within our program. So this stdio.h, that's why we can say this is the header file. It's a header file which consists of all those standard input output related functionalities or all the functions inside it, and we using include directive. Hash indicates it's a preprocessor, so before your compilation starts, it is going to resolve this linking part. So that's what the hash include is. Similar way, we have also seen hash define. So define, that is also a directive, and it is used to define some symbolic constants here. So if there is a constant value and you want to refer that constant value using some symbol, then you are going to use hash define, then space. After that space, you define your symbol, and then again a space, and you have your constant value here. So hash define space pi space 3.14. So actually that symbolic constant has been assigned the given value, and whenever we want to access this value, we are actually going to refer to this symbolic constant. We will use that pi to actually access value 3.14, and that is going to be constant throughout the entire execution of your program, and it is written in the definition section of your program. So we have seen two directives here. When I say hash something, it is a directive, hash include and a hash define. Hash is also indicating it is a preprocessor. So before you start processing, before you start compiling your program, these two things will be resolved first. Okay. Next is the main function we want to focus. What is main? Now, we know that main is a function, but what it means? So it's a function which is part of your C program, and it is a special function because execution of your entire program need to have some starting point, and main is that starting point. This is where it is going to start your execution. Now it has number of different forms with which you can write your main. You write only main and empty parenthesis, or you write main with int keyword before your main. So int main, you have one simple space, empty space between int and a main. So int space main and empty parenthesis. Or you can write void main, or you can write void and into the bracket, main and into the bracket void. So you can see there is main always, but you can have something before and you can have something inside your parenthesis. And that something is either going to be integer, int, or void. One of these two. So before main, you can have either int or void, and within parenthesis, you can have either int or void or nothing. So these are the different ways of writing your main function. Now, definitely, if we write something, then there must be some kind of its interpretation and its use. So empty pair of parentheses like this one indicates that the main function has no arguments. No argument. It is not receiving anything. Main is not going to receive anything. Okay. Now explicitly, if you write something within that parenthesis, like let's say void, then void means nothing. Void is again a different form of writing nothing. Look, there is a difference between void and a simple nothing. Like if you have an empty box, look, empty box at your home, at your place, then you can say that it is empty, but there is an air inside your empty box. Simply we can say there is nothing inside my box. But if you have that empty box in a space outside of our environment, then that empty box is actually empty. It does not have anything inside, not even an air. It has a it does not even have air, nothing inside. So that is something like void. Okay, so at our place, empty box is something like this one. Main and parenthesis. That is something like having an empty box on earth. Right? But when you write main and explicitly you say void, void means nothing, then it is writing something like in a space, having empty box in a space. Okay, so void is something like explicitly saying there cannot be anything. मैं फोर्सफुली बोलूंगा कि यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं होना चाहिए, कुछ भी नहीं, nothing. So that is what the void is. Okay, but when I say empty parenthesis, it is also indicating that there is nothing, but still it is not explicit nothing, it is implicit. So I believe, Raj, I have cleared what is the meaning of void also, and we will see that void with data types later in detail. Okay, so you can have nothing inside your parenthesis, you can have void inside your parenthesis, or you can have number of parameters inside those parentheses, and those parameters we will see later. So it is nothing but the argument. Okay, argument to the main function. More detail of arguments we will see when we learn functions, but it will take more time to reach up to that level. So that's one place. Another place is before main. Now before main you can write int, or you can write void, or you do not write anything. Now when I write something before main, it is actually a return type. So अगर आपको ये चाहिए कि मेन जो फंक्शन है वो ख़त्म होने पे आप कुछ रिटर्न करना चाहते हो, इट्स समथिंग लाइक जब आपने अपनी टास्क ख़त्म कर ली तो आप किसी को बोलोगे आई एम डन, राइट? मान लो कि मैंने आपको एक प्रोग्राम लिखने को बोला है, व्हेन यू आर डन विथ योर प्रोग्राम तो आप मुझे आके बोलोगे सर मैंने प्रोग्राम ख़त्म कर लिया. सो यू आर रिटर्निंग सम स्टेटस, and that's what this is, return value type. So अगर आप वहाँ पे void लिखते हो, then you are saying that main जो है वो मुझे कुछ return नहीं देगा. I don't want to return anything from from main. main में से मुझे कुछ return नहीं चाहिए. But explicitly अगर आपको कोई status return करना है from main, तो आप main के आगे int लिख सकते हो. So it can return integer value 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So it's something like return 0 is false, return 1 is true, that kind of status you can return from main. जब आपको रिटर्न करना है तो आप रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट लिखोगे एंड वी विल सी दैट रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट एट द टाइम ऑफ फंक्शन अगेन लेटर ऑन. अभी के लिए आप क्या याद रखोगे? देर आर डिफरेंट वेज ऑफ राइटिंग मेन. जनरली what we are going to write is we are always going to write void main empty parenthesis and then the curly parenthesis to have our body, and inside those we are going to write our code. So if you are going for Turbo C, you can do this thing. If you are going for some other compilers and editors, then you may go for int main empty parenthesis because we don't want any parameter right now, and then curly bracket to have a function body where we can write any of our code, whatever we want. हमें जो कुछ भी करना है वो ये कर्ली ब्रैकेट के बीच में हम ऑपरेशंस परफॉर्म करेंगे. बट एट दिस टाइम अगर आपने इंट लिखा है मेन के आगे तो आप फंक्शन जब कंप्लीट करते हो क्लोजिंग कर्ली ब्रैकेट उससे जस्ट पहले आप एक बार रिटर्न 0 कर दो, जस्ट टू मेक श्योर कि जब मैं प्रोग्राम कंपाइल करता हूं तो मुझे वार्निंग या एरर नहीं चाहिए. बिकॉज मैंने ये बोला कि जब मेरा मेन ख़त्म हो जाएगा तो मैं एक इंटीजर वैल्यू रिटर्न करूँगा, तो फिर मुझे वो इंटीजर वैल्यू रिटर्न करनी होगी. अदरवाइज कंपाइलर इज गोइंग टू गिव मी वार्निंग, और डिपेंडिंग ऑन कंपाइलर some compilers will give you error also, right? So this is something that you should remember. अगर मेन के आगे void है तो कुछ एक्स्ट्रा लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. अगर मेन के आगे इंटीजर है तो प्रोग्राम के एंड में आप रिटर्न 0 लिख दो. फॉर नाउ जस्ट रिमेंबर रिटर्न 0. बाद में जब हम फंक्शन सीखेंगे तो आपको ये रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट और वो सब ज़्यादा क्लियर हो जाएगा. Someone is asking what compiler I should use. Well, you can use any of the compiler, doesn't matter. There is no major changes. There are minor changes only. Okay, so that's what the main function is. So we now know that what is hash include, what is hash define, how we can have a main function. Inside that main function we can calculate something, we can print something. But when I'm going to write my C program, what are all the things that I should keep in my mind? मैं क्या protocol follow कर सकता हूँ? So that's kind of a programming style, right? We should follow that style. एक style हमें follow करनी चाहिए. Now C is a case sensitive language. Remember, capital और small letter अलग कहलाएगा C language के अंदर. So make sure that you perfectly follow the cases, uppercase and lowercase. And for that, what we need to do is we need to write our entire program probably in a lowercase. Small printf is inbuilt function, but capital printf is not inbuilt function, remember. So that should be taken care of. So when I say printf, everything is small. If you just create P capital and then remaining small, then also it is a different function. Okay. So my entire program should be in a lowercase. I'm going to have capital letters only with some constants, symbolic constants, to differentiate that this is not a variable, this is not a part of my C program, a logic, or it is just a constant, something like that. Then every statement must be written inside its own line, a separate line. So each statement should be in a separate line. Do not combine multiple statements in a single line. Now that's not a hard and fast rule, okay? You can have multiple lines, multiple statements in a single line. There is no problem, your program can still execute. But just to make it simple one, all the statements will be in a separate line. That's what we will follow. Uppercase letters are only for symbolic constants. And whenever we have a left bracket, opening bracket, whether it is small, whether it is simple bracket, angular bracket, curly bracket, anything, it is actually defining the beginning of that part. Okay, and when we have a right bracket or a closing bracket, it defines the end of that part. So a normal brace defines its a function, starting of a function, beginning of a function, and ending of the function will be the right brace mark, and so. And we should use these parentheses properly when we are going for any kind of nesting. So we should use these parentheses properly for the proper indication to make our program easier to read. This is where I start and this is where I end. I can easily understand that starting and ending part with all these parentheses. And make sure when you write comments inside your program, comments should not be overemphasized. Comments should be smaller enough to understand everything, what this code is for. That's it. So these are some points that we should keep in our mind when we are writing any C program. Vyom is asking proper indication of braces means what? So actually means when we start parenthesis, we properly end it. If I start another parenthesis inside that, then I should properly close that thing. It should not be something like this one, okay? Proper parenthesis should be there. Instead of this, it should be properly nested and so on. Overemphasized means, look, emphasizing something, आप उस पे ज़्यादा emphasize करते हो, मतलब भार रखते हो, मतलब ज़्यादा उसको important दिखाते हो. Overemphasizing. So emphasizing is something like आप उसको important दिखाते हो. Overemphasizing मतलब उसको इतना भी importance मत दो कि आपके कोड से ज़्यादा कमेंट दिखे अपने प्रोग्राम के अंदर, राइट? सो कमेंट्स होनी चाहिए so that we can understand कि ये कोड क्या टास्क परफॉर्म करता है. लेकिन कमेंट इतनी लंबी और इतनी ज़्यादा भी नहीं होनी चाहिए कि आपको कमेंट्स ही कमेंट दिखे अपने कोड के अंदर, एक्चुअल कोड दिखे ही ना. दैट शुड नॉट हैपन. Okay, fine. Even Vyom is asking how many types of braces are there. Well, you will see all those parentheses, but generally we have already seen angular brackets in hash include statement. We have seen normal brackets with function, and we have seen curly brackets with the function body. So this is going to be the inside our code. Yeah, so that's the programming style. Okay. Now let us understand development life cycle of a C program quickly. When we go for developing a C program, then we always create our C program first. And once we are done with that writing a code, creation of that code, then we compile that code. Okay. Compiler क्या करेगा? आपका जो हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज का कोड है, सी लैंग्वेज कोड, उसको लो लेवल लैंग्वेज में कन्वर्ट करेगा, राइट? इट इज गोइंग टू कन्वर्ट दैट हाई लेवल प्रोग्राम टू लो लेवल कोड. नाउ कंपाइल हो जाने के बाद आप क्या करते हो? आप एक्चुअली उसको एग्जीक्यूट करने जाते हो, बट बिफोर यू एग्जीक्यूट, आपका जो लो लेवल कोड है वो मेमोरी में लोड होगा, और then processor में जाके execute होगा. But when you load your entire code into memory, तो memory में आपको ऐसे functions भी होंगे जो system defined functions होंगे, उनको link करना पड़ेगा पहले. Okay, so you have to link all those system defined functionalities, and then you can execute your program. So these are the 4 steps which are being followed from starting of creation to the ending of your execution. You write your program, then you compile it, then when you execute your program, actually it is going to link your program first. It is going to prepare all the external links, references, and then it will execute your program. Fine. So that's going to be the life cycle, actual life cycle of a C program development. Next, and now we are going to start all the internal points of a programming, C programming language. Now we are going to have a look at comments, variables, tokens, and all those things one by one. So first of all, let us have a look at comment. It's very simple. We have already seen comments. So you can write comments in your program just to describe what that code is. And if you can complete your comment in a single line, then you can have a single line comment by double slash. But if you believe that you are not in a position to complete your entire comment in a single line, if you believe that you need to go for multiple lines, more than one line of comment, then you can have a multi-line comment using slash star and star slash at the end. So that's the multi-line comment. Multi-line comment we have seen at the time of documentation section, right? And somewhere in your program, in entire program, somewhere in between you want to write a small comment, then you can go for single line comment also. Fine. So it's something like when you are calculating your area at this place, when you are calculating your area, actually you want to comment here. So double slash, and then you can say area calculation. So this is a comment, a small comment that I want to have alongside my code. So float area equals to pi into r, it is nothing but area calculation, just like that. Okay, so that's a single line comment we can go for. So we have seen comments. Now next thing, let us quickly discuss header files. We have seen these header files already. Now header files are generally going to have extension .h, and it is going to contain some inbuilt C function declarations and macros. Now what is macro we will see later, but it is going to have something which has been already defined. कुछ तैयार कोड जो है वो हेडर फाइल के अंदर रहेगा, एंड अगर आपको वो डायरेक्टली यूज करना है तो वो हेडर फाइल आपको इंक्लूड करनी होगी. Okay. Before we discuss this header more, there is few queries on comments. Jay is asking, single line comment does not have any ending slashes. Yes, it does not have any ending slashes because we already know that it is a single line comment. तो वो उसी लाइन में खत्म हो जाएगी by default. So when you have double slash, it is a starting of comment, but जब आपकी line complete होती है, आपकी comment भी automatic खत्म हो जाएगी. On a next line, it is not going to affect. Fine. So Vyom is also asking the same thing. Yes, there is no ending indicator of a single line comment. Okay, let's go to header files now. Back. So something that has been already written, already ready to use, is generally going to be there inside your header file. Now, inside your header file, whatever code you write or it is already there. Depending on that type, we have two different types of header files. अगर C compiler के साथ आपको कोई फाइल मिली है, then it is going to be the file that comes with your compiler, just like stdio.h, conio.h. We haven't written that file, वो हमें कंपाइलर के साथ मिली. लेकिन सिमिलरली हम अपनी खुद की हेडर फाइल्स भी बना सकते हैं इफ वी वांट. ओके, हम कोई कोड लिख के हेडर फाइल के अंदर रख सकते हैं जिसको मैं बाद में यूज कर पाऊँ. जब कभी भी मुझे चाहिए तो मैं उसको यूज कर पाऊँ. सो दैट विल बी the header files written by the programmer, by the developer. अगर आप इस तरह की कोई हेडर फाइल बनाते हो तो आप वो फाइल को .h एक्सटेंशन के साथ सेव करोगे. रिमेंबर, so there are two types of header files. One that we create, developer creates, and the other one coming with the compiler itself. Now, जब कभी भी आपको वो हेडर फाइल यूज करनी है तो आपको कंपाइलर को बोलना पड़ेगा explicitly, I want to use this header file using #include directive. So in your program, after documentation section, right, you are going to include those header files. Now, when we include those header files, it is actually equivalent to copy that entire code and bring it in our current file. It's equivalent to do that thing. But we do not prefer that way. अगर वो पूरा कोड आप कॉपी करके लेके आओगे, अपनी फाइल में पेस्ट कर दोगे, तो आपकी फाइल जो है वो बहुत बड़ी हो जाएगी. जहाँ पे आपने जो कोड लिखा वो कम है, हेडर फाइल का कोड ज़्यादा है, राइट? So we don't want to do that thing. Later on, अगर मुझे अपना खुद का कोड जो है वो चेक करना है, तो इतनी बड़ी फाइल में से मुझे वो ढूंढने में प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा कि मेरा कोड कहाँ पे. एंड दैट्स द रीज़न कि हम हेडर फाइल का कोड कॉपी करके यहाँ पे नहीं लाते, हम सिर्फ उसको इंक्लूड करते हैं. But at the end, it is equivalent to copying that code and bringing that code to our own file. अब अगर हमने वो नहीं किया तो वो कौन करेगा? वो एक्चुअली प्री प्रोसेसर करेगा. योर प्री प्रोसेसर, your #include directive, as long as it is a directive, your preprocessor is going to do that thing for you on behalf of you. preprocessor क्या करेगा? वो फाइल का कोड लेके आएगा और आपकी जो फाइल है उसके अंदर रख देगा बिफोर इट कंपाइल्स. सो कंपाइल करने से पहले वो कॉपी पेस्ट कर लेगा. इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू अफेक्ट योर ओरिजिनल फाइल. आपकी ओरिजिनल फाइल जैसे है वैसे ही रहेगी, बट जब आप वो फाइल को कंपाइल करने जाते हो तो एक टेम्पररी कंपाइल करने के लिए जो फाइल बनेगी वहां पे वो कोड आ जाएगा, राइट? सो that's what happens with header files and C programs. Now, in general, whether it is C or C++ program, what we do follow is, most of the times, all the constants or macros or system-wide global variables, look, I'm saying system-wide global variables, which anyone can access anywhere. इस तरह की जो कुछ भी values हैं, हम उसको header files के अंदर रख सकते हैं. There is function prototype also, but you will understand this thing at the time of function. तो ये सारा कुछ जो है, सारे constants हैं, macros हैं, सिस्टम वाइड ग्लोबल वेरिएबल्स है या फंक्शन का कोई प्रोटोटाइप है, ये सब जो कुछ भी है वो ज़्यादातर हम हेडर फाइल के अंदर रखते हैं. एक बार डिक्लेयर कर दिया, बोल दिया कि ऐसा कुछ होगा, अब उसको यूज़ करना है तब कर लेंगे. जब कभी भी हमें यूज़ करना है तो हमें वो हेडर फाइल इंक्लूड करनी होगी, राइट? नाउ even Miraj is asking, sir, what is macro? Macro is again a different preprocessor. We will see that later on, not right now, because you don't know what is function, you don't know how to define symbolic constant which has some kind of not a constant value but have some kind of a functionality. So we will see that later. Right now you understand that header files can have maybe constants, macros, some global variables which you want to access anywhere inside your system, or some function prototypes and all. Now Yusuf is asking कि भाई header file, what header file will do? Header file contains all these things. वो ये सारी चीज़ें जो है वो अपने अंदर रखेगी. जब कभी भी किसी को वो चीज़ यूज़ करनी है तो सिंपली वो हेडर फाइल को इंक्लूड करेगा. दैट्स इट. जैसे कि लैब में काफ़ी सारे कंप्यूटर्स पड़े हैं, सिस्टम्स पड़ी हैं. जब कभी भी आपको सिस्टम की ज़रूरत है तो आप लैब में जाके वो सिस्टम यूज़ कर लेते हो. तो सिमिलरली हेडर फाइल के अंदर ऐसा कोई कोड लिखा हुआ पड़ा होगा, जब कभी भी आपको वो कोड की ज़रूरत है तो आप सिंपली वो हेडर फाइल इंक्लूड करके वो कोड यूज़ कर लोगे. राइट. एंड यस, इट इज़ ऑल्सो इन C. stdio.h is the example of header file. stdio is a file. .h मतलब वो header file है. उसके अंदर क्या है? तो उसके अंदर printf फंक्शन लिखा हुआ है, उसके अंदर scanf फंक्शन लिखा हुआ है, and so on. There are multiple things written in stdio file. Now whenever I want to use printf function, मैंने सबसे पहले क्या किया? stdio को इंक्लूड कर लिया so that I can use printf function. मुझे वो printf फंक्शन बनाना नहीं पड़ेगा, मैं डायरेक्टली उसको यूज़ कर लूँगा. क्या? सो अगर आप खुद की हेडर फाइल बनाना चाहते हो तो आप क्या करोगे? एक फाइल क्रिएट करोगे, उसके अंदर जो कोई भी फंक्शनलिटी आपको लिखनी है वो लिखोगे. अगर कांस्टेंट डिफाइन करना है तो कांस्टेंट डिफाइन करोगे, जो कुछ भी लिखना है लिख के उस फाइल को .h के साथ सेव कर लोगे. नाउ लेटर ऑन जब आपको वो यूज़ करना है तो आप अपना कोई दूसरा प्रोग्राम जो आप बना रहे हो वहाँ पे उस फाइल को इंक्लूड करोगे and you will have all those functionalities back. Yeah, so that's what the header file is. So we have seen two types of header files. Okay, system defined compiler के साथ जो फाइल आती है वो, और user defined जो हम बनाते हैं वो. अब ये दोनों फाइल जो है अलग अलग जगह पे होगी, बिकॉज सिस्टम के साथ कंपाइलर के साथ जो हेडर फाइल्स हमें मिली हैं वो तो जहाँ पे हमने C इंस्टॉल किया वहाँ पे रहेगी. एंड द अदर फाइल्स आर यूज़र डिफाइंड हेडर फाइल्स दैट वी क्रिएट. अगर हम खुद कोई हेडर फाइल क्रिएट करते हैं तो वो उस फाइल को हम अपने किसी फोल्डर में सेव करेंगे. राइट. नाउ व्हेन वी से our preprocessor to bring that file, हम जब उसको इंक्लूड करते हैं, हम जब उस फाइल को लाने के लिए बोलते हैं यूजिंग हैश इंक्लूड डायरेक्टिव, तब तो हमने सिर्फ फाइल का नाम लिखा, तो उसे कैसे पता चलेगा कि ये फाइल कहाँ पे है? राइट. when I type hash include and some file name, तो उससे पता कैसे चलेगा कि ये फाइल कहाँ पे स्टोर की हुई है? So to indicate that thing, we have two different ways of writing hash include. अगर वो system defined header file है, अगर वो compiler के साथ आई हुई header file है, then it is going to be there in some system directories, and those system directories are referenced internally. तो उस केस में हम सिर्फ एंगुलर ब्रैकेट लिख देंगे, तो अपने प्री प्रोसेसर को पता चल जाएगा कि अगर एंगुलर ब्रैकेट लिखा है तो वो सिस्टम हेडर फाइल है, और अगर वो सिस्टम हेडर फाइल है तो मुझे सिस्टम की डायरेक्टरी में से वो मिल जाएगी, स्टैंडर्ड सिस्टम डायरेक्टरी में से मुझे वो मिल जाएगी. Now if we are including user defined header file, तो वो तो कहीं और फोल्डर में होगी, कहीं और डायरेक्टरी में. To indicate that instead of angular brackets we are going to have double quote, और डबल क्वॉट के बीच में हम पूरा पाथ लिखेंगे, रिलेटिव पाथ ऑफ दैट फाइल. ओके, तो वो क्या करेगा, when that preprocessor finds double quote, it is going to search that file inside the directory that you have specified. वहाँ पे हमने अगर पूरा पाथ दिया तो वो पाथ पे सेट चेक करने जाएगा. वहाँ पे अगर आपने सिर्फ फाइल का नाम लिखा है तो वो करंट डायरेक्टरी के अंदर चेक करेगा. ओके, सो दैट इज द डिफरेंस. अगर आप एंगुलर ब्रैकेट करते हो तो आप सिस्टम डिफाइंड हेडर फाइल्स को एक्सेस कर रहे हो. अगर आप डबल क्वॉट करते हो तो आप यूजर डिफाइंड हेडर फाइल्स को एक्सेस करने जाते हो. एंड व्हेन यू हैव डबल क्वॉट यू आर गोइंग टू हैव द पाथ. आप या तो पूरा पाथ लिख दो, दैट विल बी एब्सोल्यूट पाथ, या तो फिर आप सिर्फ अपनी फाइल का नाम लिखो. इन दैट केस वो करंट डायरेक्टरी जो है वहां पे उस फाइल को सर्च करेगा. नाउ दैट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन these two different ways of writing hash include. So I believe I'm clear with this thing. Everyone has understood this part. So that's what the header is. Okay, now let us have a look at tokens. Now this is something that you should keep in your mind. This is something which is important also. C tokens. Token is the smallest part of your program, a very smallest part, unit part, okay, which cannot be further divided. कोई ऐसा पार्ट है जिसको आप फर्दर डिवाइड नहीं कर सकते हो, तो सी प्रोग्राम में उसको एक टोकन बोलेंगे. इट इज कॉल्ड एज अ टोकन. Now there are different types of tokens in C language, and you can see those list here. So you can categorize C tokens in a C program in these categories. It can be either keyword, अगर कोई कीवर्ड है तो वो एक टोकन है. It can be identifier. We will see all these things one by one. Okay, so just be patient. If it is keyword, then it is a token, or in a different way you can say C tokens can be either keyword, or it can be identifier, or it can be constants, or it can be special symbols, or it can be operators. Fine. अगर वो कीवर्ड है तो वो टोकन है, अगर वो आइडेंटिफायर है देन ऑल्सो इट इज़ अ टोकन, अगर वो कांस्टेंट है तो वो टोकन है, स्पेशल सिंबल है तो वो टोकन है, ऑपरेटर है तो भी वो टोकन है. लेकिन ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इन दिस डायरेक्शन. अगर वो टोकन है तो आप उसको फर्दर डिवाइड नहीं कर पाओगे. रिमेंबर दैट थिंग, इट मस्ट बी यूनिट. अगर वो आइडेंटिफायर है तो आप उसको फर्दर डिवाइड नहीं कर पाओगे. अगर वो कांस्टेंट वैल्यू है तो आप उसको फर्दर डिवाइड नहीं कर पाओगे. अगर वो कीवर्ड है तो वो फर्दर डिवाइड नहीं होगा, उसको ब्रेक नहीं कर पाओगे आप. इन दैट केस ओनली यू कैन से इट इज अ टोकन. सो कीवर्ड्स, ओके, समथिंग विच इज ऑलरेडी डिफाइंड इन अ लैंग्वेज. ऐसे काफ़ी सारे वर्ड्स हैं जो पहले से डिफाइन किए हुए हैं सी लैंग्वेज के अंदर, जिसका कोई स्पेसिफिक मीनिंग है सी लैंग्वेज के अंदर, तो वो सब कीवर्ड्स हैं. Then there is an identifier. Just as name suggests, if you want to identify something, then you are going to assign identifier, just like your name. Physically you have a body, but if you want to refer to that body, then we have a name assigned to that body. Okay, a name assigned to this body. That's nothing but the identifier. Our name is one kind of identifier. I'm saying just a name, not a full name. If you say full name, then you can further divide your full name in surname, first name, middle name, and so on. Okay, so don't go in that way. Just have a first name, then it is going to be the identifier as a token. So C program के अंदर identifiers क्या हो सकते हैं? It can be variable name, it can be function name, or it can be your file names, and so on. Okay, those can be your identifiers. वेरिएबल का नाम जो है वो आइडेंटिफायर कहलाएगा. एक बार अपने वेरिएबल को कोई नाम दे दिया तो वो नाम फिक्स रहेगा, मतलब उसको आप डिवाइड नहीं कर पाओगे, आधा पार्ट यहाँ पे आधा पार्ट वहाँ पे, ऐसा नहीं कर पाओगे. So that we can say it is a token. So that's what the identifier is. We will see identifier again and rules of identifier when we go and see some variables. Fine. So next is a constant. Now when we talk about constant, we can have two different kind of constants. A single character constant, or let's say a sequence of characters which is called string, and we can have string constants also. So that is something like alphabet. We are creating a constant using alphabet. And there is another constant which is numeric constant. So we can have string or character constant, or we can have numeric constant. So these are two types of constants. Then we have a special symbols, right? It is also a token. Special symbol is nothing but like if you want to define a new line, then you are going to have /n that defines a new line. So /n escape character sequence is kind of a special symbol here. We will see few other special symbols later. And even /n you cannot further divide. Slash और n को आप अलग नहीं कर पाओगे. अगर अलग कर दिया तो उसका मीनिंग बदल जाएगा, right? जब /n एक साथ में है तभी उसका मीनिंग है न्यू लाइन. And in that case we are going to call it a special symbol as a token. And then the last type is operators. Operator is nothing but arithmetic operator, logical operator, relational operators, assignment operator. So arithmetic operators are nothing but plus, minus, into, divide, modulo, and so on. Relational operators are nothing but something like less than or greater than, and so. Assignment operator is nothing but we are assigning some value. एक वैल्यू हम किसी को असाइन करेंगे. That's the assignment operator. There are logical operators also, like we want to have AND condition या तो फिर OR condition हमें चाहिए. So AND, OR, NOT, these are logical operators. So there are number of operators in a C language which we can use to perform that particular task. और वो सारे operators जो हैं वो भी एक टोकन है जिसको आप डिवाइड नहीं कर पाओगे. अगर किया तो उसका मीनिंग बदल जाएगा. Fine. So these are the types of C tokens, and this is important point inside this unit also. Remember that multiple times this type of question has been asked: what is C tokens? Explain C tokens, give examples, and so on. So today we have just seen the overview of C tokens. There are keywords, identifiers, constants, special symbols, operators, and so on. From next lecture onward, we are going to pick each and every token one by one, and we are going to understand those tokens in detail. So we will start from a keyword. and we will understand what are the keywords we can use in a C program, list of keywords and so. Fine? Well, so I believe it's time. So let us conclude this session at this place. Today, we have gone for multiple small points. Starting with the revision, we have seen header files, we have seen directives, include directive and a define directive. We have seen what different ways of writing main function. Then we have seen types of header files, system defined or user defined. In both the cases, there will be different syntax of including that file, angular bracket or double quote. And then we come up to the tokens, and we have seen what are the tokens, different types of tokens here. So that's it for today. Thank you for being part of this session here, and we'll meet again in next week upcoming sessions. Thank you.